I think it's as important, but I don't think it's the bellwether that it used to be. What's happened is the development of the private markets, the venture capital market, and the early stage investors. So I would argue that a lot of the value creation has actually happened before the IPO comes, and the IPO is more of a liquidity event. The market has been very good this year, especially in the technology and software space, where a lot of these companies are playing in. So I think it makes sense that the market is doing well. So it's important, but not the bellwether it used to be.
Brad, is there any concern that the fact that many companies have come to market this year would suggest that maybe the market is peaking?
I think that's getting close to true, Tyler, because you look at it from the standpoint of a company that wants to go public, wants to take their stock to the market. They want to get the highest price they can. So they want to sell at the point where they think the market is just hitting as good conditions as it can get. And when you see all of these companies coming to that same conclusion, that suggests that a lot of people in the various industries really think this may be as good as it gets.
So, Brad, why do you think that the S&P 500 is going to close out the year at 3,100?
I think we have a couple of quarters to go. When you look at the economy, when you look at consumer spending, when you look at what happened in August, we had 3 pullbacks, but the market came back each time. We've still got some room to run here, but we're getting close to the end.
Yeah, we've seen this rotation. It's a pretty powerful rotation, Kirk, at least in the past couple days, longer if you take a look at a sector like the semiconductors. But at least for the past couple days, we've seen a major pickup when it comes to financials, which is an area that you like. I mean, regionals are up more than 5% this week. Small caps, which you also like, Kirk, are up more than 4% this week. I mean, do you think that this is a lasting trend here, or is this sort of a dead cat bounce?
Well, I think it's a mixture. I think what's going on is a rotation. So what's happening is the rotation out of the large FANG names into the value stocks. So I think it's a mixed message. In some ways, it's very good for the market. You wonder, because of the large capitalization of the FANG stocks, if they're selling off and the smaller value ones are coming up, will that balance it out? So I think we have to see.
Kirk, the president resumed his full frontal assault on the Fed today, characterizing, I guess, the Board of Governors or the Federal Open Market Committee as a bunch of boneheads for not lowering rates even to zero. What do you think about that? Is that called for? But he also made the point, which I think a lot of people agree with, isn't this a good time for the federal government potentially to refinance a fair amount of its debt and maybe toy with the idea of having even longer-term bonds than 30-year bonds because rates are so favorable?
Well, it looks like if you look at the Fed funds futures market, the December 11th is something like 159, implying 2 25 basis point Fed cuts. So I think we're going to get some reduction on the short end. To your point, I think that it's a great time to defease our national debt. I mean, I wonder if there are any more fiscal conservatives in Washington. Given all the debt that we have out there, I think it behooves us to immunize that debt. So I am very much in the camp that we should be floating longer-term debt to fund long-term our deficits.